some money. You know what I mean? Stupid motherfucker. All right. Rest in peace to Ray Sean Autry. His brother is still. Listen, Rich, you gonna overdose on hate, man. Let that fucking hatred go. Joe Rogan. Spin this into talking about Spotify real quick. I seen Joe Rogan. He spoke recently about Neil Young and a few other people who removed their music on Spotify because they felt that Joe Rogan's podcast in particular was spreading misinformation. And if you don't know, Joe Rogan's podcast, just like my podcast, is a Spotify exclusive. I love Spotify. And when I mean I love them so much. I don't know if I told y'all, but I turned down over $1 million to be with Spotify. And the reason why I did that is because I know that they care about the creators. They care about allowing the creators room to speak and not trying to be the police of said creators. Was important for me. The reason why it was important for me, I'm not perfect. I'm also edgy. And sometimes when I get on my rants, I be going a little bit. So I'm cool with that. Now, here's the thing. With Joe Rogan, and just like even how Spotify told me, like, yo, not because they're putting your shit out and you're exclusive to them mean they agree with everything you say. They might even disagree. They're just actually trying to hold the fort down because they're saying, hey, listen, we want to allow free, unlimited speech like we allow with rappers who fucking get on there and be like, yo, I'm going to fuck this bitch and shoot this op and do whatever the case is, you know? And I really respect them for attempting to do that. Now, a bunch of people like remove their music from Spotify and let's put them in a little bind. I think Joe Rogan did a great job of speaking on this. And I think Spotify is on the right side of history. I'm going to tell you why. Spotify and Netflix, I like what they're doing because in reality, let me move beyond this COVID thing. This is a test of cancellation. Okay? Cancellation has been a very effective means of controlling and censoring conversation. Hey, if you're ever going to talk about a trans community, you got to talk like this. If you're ever going to talk about these people, you got to talk like this. If you're going to talk about these issues, you got to talk like this or not talk at all. They don't want retorts. They don't want open conversation, open dialogue. They want basically everybody to think one way. And then we saw what Netflix did. Because usually when everybody gets mad at you, the corporations aligned with you just drop you. Oh, shit, we want to please the crowd. Shit, you're one guy. We got to get rid of you. Dave Chapelle was the guy. We watched with Netflix where they said, with all due respect to the LGBTQ plus community, we love y'all. But we aren't going to be dropping everybody. Okay, we're not going to be dropping people you don't like. We're not going to drop Dave Chappelle's comedy special. And some people might be like, oh, it's because what they paid for it. But I think it's more than that. It's like, well, even if it's bottom line driven, it's like, why did corporations who I've always thought, remember when the whole like thing about Black Lives Matter or whatever was popping and everybody was donating? Why did these corporations donate towards black creators or like progress of black people? Is it because they cared or because they just cared about their bottom line? They cared about their bottom line. And it took Dave Chappelle for Netflix to realize the crowd of people who care about what Dave Chappelle said on Netflix that would possibly cancel or cause an uprising was very minuscule to the people that Dave Chappelle was bringing himself. And they took a very unpopular stance to say, I understand you guys might disagree, but we're not doing shit with it. And I think that's what Spotify's doing too. I think Spotify's on the right side of history, even though some people might be like, well, what about if other big artists like trying to pull their music? Neil Young is pretty good. There's a few other people who did pull their music too. People care about them. But I'm a little proud of Spotify to watch how they're moving with this, because this is exactly why I went to Spotify. I went to them because they weren't going to buckle at the first sign of questioning or hardship. And some people might be like, yo, their stock price dropped $4 billion. Yes, that would cause a lot of people to act very quickly. Instead, what they've done, they have analyzed what Joe Rogan has done on his podcast. They said, well, it doesn't break our rules. They've backed him. And they said, we're not stubborn. We'll learn from this and we'll create some additional guidelines for future instances that could be more transparent. Disclaimers, this and third. And this is how we'll go about it. But if you wanted us to just put Joe Rogan's neck on a guillotine and just chop his neck off because you guys are upset, we're not going to do that. And I really, really respect how they handle that. And I'm really, really proud to be at Spotify. You know, I think they're handling it the right way. And by the way, for example, I did this episode with Andrew Schultz, and we talked a little bit about the vaccine and this and third. Who knows? I don't know how quickly their new policy is going to go into effect. But maybe when that episode comes up, there might be a disclaimer to say, hey, this episode is mentioning some things that might be true or not true about the COVID vaccine. If you want to know the truth, click here and go to our library or whatever the case. And if that's the case, I'm cool with it. But you know what? You know why I'm really happy? It's because nobody's against that. What we're all for is what Joe Rogan, I believe, is fighting for and what he's standing for, which is open conversation. Not because the nation wants everybody to get vaccinated means you silence the voices of people who might question it. And I really do like that. So, again, another reason why I'm very happy to be at Spotify. I think they're a bunch of brilliant people, and I think they're progressive, and it just reiterates the point and the decision I made to be here. And I look at Rogan in a sense where I haven't met him yet. There's a bunch of people who work on my show work on his show too, like in terms of Spotify people. And I haven't called in that favor. They're like, hey, do you want to, like, we could probably get you to get on the show. And I'm like, nah, I'm not there yet. But again, while I might not agree with everything that's said on Joe Rogan's podcast, I do agree that this cancel culture is fucking shit. And they're trying to bully people. They're trying to bully you into what you could say and what you can't say. And they make you scared. And they dangle money over your head to say, well, if you don't follow what we say, you won't get paid. And usually corporations are jumping like a dog, like yo, we just want to get paid. So just tell us what the fuck we got to do. But we're seeing like Netflix, we're seeing Spotify. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be more people that are going to stand up and say, nah, I like that. All right, let's move on from that. I see this guy Jay Electronica, man. Look at